Now, some people might think that performing CPR is a job for paramedics or medical professionals, but learning CPR can help save lives and give people the vital help they need.
But what do you need to know in order to perform CPR correctly? Well, Rosemary Hayden from the Irish Red Cross joins us now to show us the essential steps that you need to follow when conducting CPR. Good morning to you, Rosemary.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You have an adult, a child and a baby, and you're going to demonstrate CPR on all three.
Yeah.
When do you do CPR? When should you do CPR?
Very, very simple. CPR can only be done on someone who is already clinically dead. Okay, cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest means the heart has stopped beating. The heart stops beating altogether. That is otherwise known as clinical death. Okay,
so how would you know?
Yeah, now that's the big question. The big question is, how do you know? Well, what we teach people in the public context is to check by breathing, and we check for signs of life, they're called. So coughing, colour, movement and breathing. And we take all of those signs together and we put them together and we make an estimation that the person's heart has stopped. If we stop and we start checking around for a pulse, most people can't find their own pulse. Never mind finding a casualty's pulse.
In a panic
situation. It's just not going to happen. So basically we take all of those things together and we make our best guess at it, which means that it's always better to give it a go and be wrong in that than to not give it a go. There's no time to be wrong.
And you see, that's what I was thinking. Am I going to do something wrong here? Am I going to make somebody worse
That's
or
the
make them
biggest
sicker
worry
or
that
break
people
a bone?
have. Yeah, people worry about that. But if you think about it, where you're starting from, if you do nothing, if you do absolutely nothing, this person will not survive. Okay? If they have had their heart stop and their breathing stop, they have 4 minutes from that point until they actually start losing the brain cells, before the brain cells start dying. 4 minutes
So
total.
a small
and
window.
from 4 minutes until 10 minutes, at 10 minutes, basically all of the brain cells are dead, and the person is then biologically or brain dead, and there's no coming back from that. So if you have somebody go down in front of you, and the vast majority of out-of-hospital cardiac arrests happen in the person's home, and the majority of those have a family member there. So it is going to be you with a family member, either them with you or you with them, performing CPR. So that's the majority.
The worst thing you can do is
break a bone. And if you brought somebody back to life, if they've a broken rib,
a small price to pay. They thank you.
Price.
They thank you for the rest of their lives for that broken rib.
So to check if they're breathing, just go right
so we're
down.
going to go straight into it. And Ciara, I'm going to guide you through it.
Yes.
So if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to ask you to just check, is the person awake? So I'm going to show you on this mannequin here. Shake and shout and say, hello, can you hear me? Open your eyes.
Hello, can you hear me? Open your eyes.
Okay, and we're shouting at them because they might just be asleep and they might just not be bothered. All right?
Or they might have just sort of fainted.
Yeah, they might have fainted. Could be anything like that.
But if somebody's just asleep, surely you will see a breathing.
Oh, you will, absolutely. And we're going to check for that next. So we're going to get 2 fingers in under the chin, hand on the forehead, and you're going to open back the airway, and you're going to get your head down and get your ear right down over the mouth, and you're listening and feeling. You're looking along the chest to see if there's any movement, and you're feeling for any breath on your cheek, and you're going to count to 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 7, all the way to 10, and then you're going to look around and see, is there any colour, is there any, coughing, colour, movement or breathing, okay? There's nothing like that. We're now going to give 2 breaths. Now, in the case of the adult, at that point, we're going to shout out for help, and we're going to go, help, help, help. Is there somebody to go get help? Now, Alan's here. He's going to go get help for us. Alan,
but if you were in a house
on your own, if I'm on my own, I take my mobile phone out of my pocket, I dial 999 or 112, I put it on speakerphone, and I leave it there, and they'll talk me through it. Okay? So you call help at that stage.
The minute that you get through to the ambulance service,
absolutely,
or the emergency services, and you say
everything.
somebody has passed out on the floor, I don't think they're breathing, should I give them CPR?
Absolutely, and they will talk you through and they'll tell you all of the steps and they'll instruct you on how to do it. In addition to that, Alan, I'm going to instruct you to go off and get the AED. Pretty much AEDs are everywhere. They're in gas, they're in schools, they're in businesses all over the place. But they're not in your homes. They're not in your home, but where's your nearest GAA? Where's your nearest school? Think of those things.
That would probably be 20 minutes down the road. You're sort of saying that this could be brain dead in 4 minutes.
Absolutely. So you stay and you do your CPR. It's only if there's someone else who can go and get that.
A second person.
Exactly.
Okay,
and
but
you
that's
continue
a good
with
thing
your CPR.
to be thinking of. The second person in the house makes a phone call to 999 and see, is there one of those in the area?
In the area.
And actually what it says is, find out if there's one in your area.
Find out before you need to know.
How do you find out if there's one in your area?
You can check. There's a CF4 register with CF4 Ireland, and they'll tell you where the nearest CF4 AED machine is.
Okay.
But if there's not one in your area, if you're in a rural location and there's not one for 50 miles.
You continue on with the number one rule is your CPR. CPR will stop the clock. So if you start CPR 2 minutes in, you've stopped the clock for the person at that point. They're not going to get any worse, basically, as long as you continue with your CPR. But the AED is what's going to restart their heart. So we're going to continue with the CPR until we get the AED in.
No, we've done this.
Can I just sort of stop? You need to keep doing this until an ambulance arrives then to get the heart. You are only keeping this person alive by doing this.
You're basically the heart-lung machine.
This person will not come back.
No, it's not Baywatch. They're not going to jump up and thank you. It's not going to be, you know, something dramatic like you're going to bring them back. You're basically the heart and lung machine. You're the life support machine. You're just keeping the air going into their lungs, keeping the blood circulating around their body. And then it's the machine that's going to restart the heart.
So that ambulance needs to get to you very quickly.
We've had people on the programme here who have done CPR for maybe 45 minutes, an hour, and have kept people alive.
And the person then can come back with no brain damage.
Yes,
it's
amazing.
Fantastic.
Okay,
so we go for it. So airway is open, close over the nose, and you're going to take a deep breath and you're going to breathe in, circling the mouth and covering the whole of the mouth. You ready?
Yeah.
And then turn your head and look down along the chest and breathe again.
And should the chest be starting to come up a bit?
Yes, it should start to rise. Now, that's great, but you don't need to breathe as much, just a small enough breath. So breathe, turn and breathe, OK? I know, but they won't mind that either.
They won't mind that, absolutely not.
So you've given your 2 breaths. You're going to now get down to the chest.
Yes.
Kira, I'm going to ask you to do it 2 hands. I'm going to ask you to lock your hands, lock your elbows like that, so that you're using the whole of your body.
So
now
we're a bit of strength.
Exactly, you're using your body weight, because none of us has the upper body strength to keep this going for 45 minutes, you know? So we would normally be doing this on the floor. We have it up here just for the purpose of demo, but basically you're going to lean in and you're going to lean over your casualty and you're going to press 30 times to the count with the heel of your hand. And the other hand is going to lock in. Now for a child, it's one hand.
You do it? Where?
Mid-centre, it's the mid-nipple point. It is right there on the sternum. Sternum is a big sturdy bone, and the sturdy bone is right down the centre. You're not going to break that. If you are in the wrong place, you're in danger of breaking ribs. But if you stay on that sternum, it's very, very, very difficult to break that.
Okay,
but if that bone is there then and supporting it, how is it getting and how is it?
It's going to bounce, basically. It's going to kind of bounce in and out. There's a bit of give in it. It will bounce up and down. So these are an approximation of how the ribs will bounce up and down.
In between the two
the nipple line,
that's where you'll find the bone. You'll feel it on the person.
You'll feel it. It's like everyone can feel their own sternum. It's a good sturdy bone down the centre of the ribs. It is, yeah. So I'm using one hand. You're going to use 2 like that. Lock your elbows, and we're going to count out, funnily enough, to the well, not to the tune of, but to the beat of Staying Alive. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7
fast.
and 8. It is 10 and 11 and 12 and 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. That's one cycle of CPR, OK? And that's exhausting, OK? So hold back to the mouth, back to the mouth, yeah. And we turn our head and we breathe. Now we're going to continue doing that until the ambulance, and then continue on, and we're going to continue on until the ambulance gets there.
15, 20, 25 minutes.
You're going to keep doing that. Keep doing that.
If it was your loved one,
I know.
You would keep going.
Strength,
but the strength now, and as regards kind of getting tired and whatnot, if there's more than one person, what we advise is that one person does it for 2 minutes, the other person comes in from the other side, they do 2 minutes, first person sits back, has a little bit of a break, and that really does help you keep going an awful lot longer.
And can I ask you, when you are doing this, so there will be no visible signs that this is working.
Absolutely
so you
not.
just have to keep
doing
it. So it's not, you're not sort of seeing, oh, they're getting a bit, the blue is not as strong.
Don't be expecting anything like that.
Right.
There may be the colour. You are just keeping the brain alive. You're keeping oxygen going to the brain. You're keeping the blood going around the body. All you're doing is stopping the clock. So imagine if that clock kept ticking, the person would be dead by the time the ambulance got there.
Just keep going for as long as you possibly can.
So it's 30
and
breaths, 30 and 2.
32.
And you just keep going until the ambulance arrives.
The adult, we call for help straight away. With the child, it's more likely to be basically it's a respiratory rest that goes into cardiac arrest. So we'll call for help after 2 minutes with the child.
With the child, though, is it the same? Is it 2 breaths?
It's the same. 2 breaths, 30. 2 breaths, 30. Except we do.
It's an infant.
Exactly. So we're going to do the infant now in a second.
Right,
we'll just
take that.
We're saying infant. What age?
Infant is up to a year. Child is 1 to 13 on the current protocol.
And this is what you do with your fingers, isn't it?
Yes. So the baby is up to a year. So the baby baby, we'll say, is in the cot. So this is the very sad scenario of the type of cot death, sudden infant death. So I'm going to come along to the baby and say, hello, Annie. They're all called Annie. Hello, Annie. And Annie doesn't wake up for me. So I'm going to call out, help, help, as I take Annie up out of the cot. And I lift her up to me and I put her in the baby recovery position, which is down on my tummy, holding her jaw, not her neck. And I'm going to get her onto a hard surface, like the kitchen table, something like that. It has to be a hard surface always, adult or child.
Onto the ground.
Onto the ground, anywhere with a hard surface. So I've called out, help, help, but there's nobody here to help me. I'm going to move the baby's head into a neutral position. I don't push it back as far as the adult. And I again count for up to 10 seconds, 1,000 and so on. There's no breathing. So at this point, I'm going to cover the baby's mouth and nose together because they're so small.
You're able to do both.
Tiny little puffs. And then I get this hand, free hand, and it goes in under the shoulders because the baby's head is so much bigger, we need to support the space. So between the nipple line again, we'll open out the baby's baby grow.
But you just do it with your fingers this time?
2 fingers, only 2 fingers. Any 2 fingers, whichever you feel comfortable with. People feel comfortable with different ones. So we'll count out 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and so on, all the way up to 30. So it's still 2 to 30.
Thing.
Exactly. It's just a different.
So 30 and 2 are the key things.
Always.
2 breaths, 30.
Always 30 and 2. Always 30 and 2. And then once you have your hands in place there, you can just go down, give your 2 breaths.
2 small breaths, 2 puffs.
Tiny little puffs, because they don't have
babies.
to. Just babies, tiny little lungs. And then continue with your 30. And then once you've done 2 minutes of that, remember we haven't called for help yet. So I'm going to have to lift baby up and go and get help. So I'll call my mobile phone or I'll go get help, but after 2 minutes, because it's possible that the baby could come round. The adult won't, but the baby, it's generally respiratory rest. They've stopped breathing and that has stopped their heart. So it is possible you might get the baby back.
Do the baby first.
Where can people go and get CPR training?
Very, very important. CPR training only takes 3 hours. There's a fantastic public access course that covers CPR and the training of the AD. It's only 3 hours. It's so well worth it.
Wouldn't you feel so much more empowered if you did manage to bring somebody back?
Frightening.
It is frightening. I actually feel slightly panicked when I see that.
So do I.
I have the feeling that I might ever.
Yeah.
But it's so much better to be able to do something, I think, rather than having to stand there. Absolutely, 100%.
Rosemary, great advice as always. Thank you so much for coming into this morning.
Thank you.